Good evening, friends. This is the update for 20th February 2020. Now, today was a very interesting day. The reason for that was that the Nifty opened 100 points gap up, which is an extraordinary event without any sort of news flow. And that is something that was kind of out of syllabus for us because 90 to 95% of the time, if you are sitting on a large rally, which was yesterday from the lows, you had gone up 100 points, then today again you gapped up about 100 points. That is not something which happens usually. So, as uh, we often do, that when we get large gap ups, we try to sell. We did the same today. And that was possibly the mistake we made because, sure, the market came down. It came down to about 12,050, and we were looking for more downside. But what happened actually was that the market turned around, took out the morning high, and kept on going. Now, even through this, we came out of our positions at a break even sort of zone and then, went quiet, and we did not participate for the rest of the day. Number one, we were thrown off guard by the sheer momentum of the market and the size of the rally, like 100 points yesterday, 150 points today. That is almost a 200 to 250 point rally within a space of a day, because yesterday only the last hour had the rally. Now, what was the mistake I made? And yes, after 20 plus years also, I make mistakes and I acknowledge them privately and publicly. I have no problem with that. The mistake was that we should have stayed with our buy on dip psychology instead of thinking that because of this extraordinary gap, we should sell into it. So we should have just simply waited for about 12,050, which incidentally was the 200 period average on the 5-minute chart, and should have tried to buy into that. I don't think buying yesterday was a good idea because there was a press meet, and sometimes, uh, you know, the finance ministry or the finance minister, they come out with things which can really, take the markets higher or lower. So while we did not make all the money that was there to be made, but we kept ourselves safe, and just one of those days when you are kind of out of step with the market. But there is two ways of being out of step. A, to make some money and keep off where things are not clear, and B, don't lose any money if things are not clear. Now the issue here is, what do we do tomorrow? Now again we will look for a decline to buy into. There was some relief expected in AGR, etc. That has not come in the cabinet meeting. So chances are that the Nifty comes up 50, 70 points towards 12,080, 12,100, and that is a place where you want to buy into it. My sense is that since we've held one end of the range, which is the lower end, chances are the market runs up to the higher end and possibly crosses 12,240 and really go to the higher end of the range, which is 12,350, etc. So we will try to buy into whatever dip comes our way, because you had 2 days of very brisk rally. At some point tomorrow, we should give back some of it. Also on the bank nifty, again, you want that the bank nifty comes off 150 200 points, which it did today before moving back up, and then you buy with a stop of about 30,500 and look for 31,100, etc. So that way, today we are clear what are we going to do, whether or not you get 100-point gap up again or you don't. So this is the sort of mistakes which is called unforced errors in tennis. They happen, and as long as you are rectifying that mistake, you are learning the lesson that is there to be learned, there is no problem. Money can be made, will be made, even in the next session. So having said this, what sort of stocks you should be buying? Things like Reliance, HDFC. Today, the insurance stocks came back strongly. So ICICI, Pru, etc. They can be bought. Similarly, consumer stocks like Jubilant should be bought into. So several stocks are looking good, and while we remain in this upswinging, downswinging market, it's very important that you change your psychology from buy on dip to sell on rally to back to buy on dip whenever the swing turns around. Nothing has changed in this country in last 6 months. We are just going up because there is short covering. We come down when people cut their long positions and go short again. So nothing new is really happening. So that way it is a difficult situation, and the market, again, it's a tough market to trade. Not impossible, but even experienced players make mistakes. So keep your mistakes to a minimum, and when it works, really make it count. So that is the advice right now. For the moment, we are in an upswing. Chances are the moment we get to 12,350, new high is here. All this talk about, this is the bull market we were waiting for, etc., etc., etc. So once I hear that talk, that will be my indication of taking profits. So I would like to buy into any sort of decline. I think today is basically the first day of the rally, and one that we should have caught, but things sometimes they slip out. So having said all of this, take care, trade well, and please consult your financial advisor.